One of the greatest things that we had back in the day of Apex was just the communication from Respawn. So why all of a sudden did it stop? Why did they stop doing their long Twitter threads explaining the updates or explaining their future paths with the game, or even responding to people that had really big concerns? Now, there are a couple devs that still do reply to some people about some things, but compared to the way that things used to be, they're very minute. Don't forget, we're giving away $150 worth of Glytch energy. All you gotta do is comment down below, leave a like on the video, subscribe. I'm only picking people that are subscribed. All right, so our main topic here is about the level 500 cap and about a potential cap increase, but then also obviously the communication that we have from Respawn and its community. But before I spoke about that, I needed to do some groundwork so you could understand why we're talking about this to begin with. So Xander said, I miss communication like this. And this was a big thread that Jason McCord did back in 2020, basically explaining a little bit of an update that they were thinking about doing, or a complaint that the community had. And he went into depth and went into great detail about what their potential options were, and not even really, hey, here's what we're going to do, but basically saying, hey, we're presented with two options. And there were a couple people over at Respawn that kind of did this on Twitter many times. They would speak to the community and go into great insight about what they're planning on doing and basically the paths that they're trying to take. Like I said, it wasn't always necessarily, hey, here's your complaint, here's what we're fixing, or here's what we're going to do, here's the fix. Now, those things are obviously great, but a lot of times it was just transparency. Hey, we know you're saying this, here's our thoughts, here's our potential paths, what do you guys think? So that's what we used to have. Let's talk about what we have now and then tie it back into the level cap increase. So now, for the most part, we don't have very much when it comes to open transparency from Respawn. The little bit that we do have is probably hideouts, maybe Path, maybe Josh Medina every now and then, giving a little bit of insight of what's going on with a specific thing, but it's normally just about bugs or rank. So Alpha Intel put this on Twitter and said, today marks 900 days since the level cap in Apex Legends was increased to 500. It's almost been a year since Respawn said they were planning to increase it. Now, in our last couple of videos, we have insinuated time and time again that Respawn takes way too long to implement things that really should not be taking this long. Just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, look at cross progression. It's been so long since they announced it. Yes, I know it takes a long time to bring into the game, but they've had plenty of time. It's been way long enough. Private matches, it's been over a year since, no, almost 2 years, I think, since Chad Grenier had said that they were working on people getting private matches and each player being able to experience private lobbies for themselves. And then also you look at even smaller things, like when it comes to the bug fixes for the DDoSing on Xbox right now, and all the lobby crashes that people are getting because people are using an exploit to crash the lobbies. And as you can see in this clip, I'm getting shot backwards. Like, what is this? Yes, they brought out some type of patch because they thought it was going to work, and it ended up not working. So do you even count that as a response whenever it's not working? Should it really be taking over 2 weeks to fix a game-breaking ranked bug that's causing a lot of people to not get their RP, maybe not even to enjoy ranked because half their games are getting DDoS? Like I said, yes, they did try to bring a fix pretty soon, but it just obviously didn't work. So it's kind of hard to know whether or not you should even count that. Regardless, you get my point. It takes them a long time to do a lot of things that, in my opinion, shouldn't take that long. And it is weird, yes, because compared to other games, we get a lot of content, and we are very blessed and fortunate to have all of these events every single season and have a lot going on. We're just missing that cherry on top that really shouldn't be taking this long. It's like you ordering a daiquiri and it takes 5 minutes to get the daiquiri, but it's taking 5 years to get the cherry on top. So let's talk about potentially why we aren't getting that transparency from Respawn that we used to get. So Crowrindo said, level 500 since season 4, ... it hurts. He also responded, said, I hate that Respawn doesn't talk with us anymore. I miss the dev streams. Garrett Leaks retweeted it saying, we also miss Reddit AMAs. And Thornton said, well, we know why. So if we know why, let's talk about why we aren't getting that communication anymore from Respawn. So a couple things. Yes, there are a few things that did happen. A Respawn developer did get fired for basically saying some stuff back in 2007. And he was a guy that was doing a lot of communication on Twitter regarding buffs and nerfs because he was the guy making the balance changes very often over at Respawn. So that was a little bit of a change, but the guy that took his place was for a short time a little bit active on Twitter and talking about some of the changes that we were getting. So it's not like he couldn't be vocal about some of the changes. You also had the director of communications for EA, which was Ryan Rigney, who was no longer working at EA anymore. Many people say he was like forced to resign. Some people said he just voluntarily left. Now, he was a guy who would do multiple threads all the time on Apex regarding some of the changes that we were wanting to see and why it was taking so long, or maybe a community outrage. He would just come out and respond to it. Now, the person that took his spot did not really use any communication whatsoever on Twitter for a very long time and did not really speak to the community hardly at all. And it was really weird considering that she had the title of director of communication. And now since all of this, we've lost Jason McCord, which is an OG developer that was there for years. We've also lost Chad Grenier, who was an OG developer that had been there for years, and we lost many others. I want to say about 4 or 5 devs that have been there for years and years and years. Even the one guy who started back at the beginning of season like 0 doing the questions on The Wired, I believe, on the YouTube channel, answering common questions with I think it was Drew McCoy, who was also an OG Apex developer that ended up leaving. But despite all of these people leaving, we did have a good sense of communication for quite some time. Even Thornton Smash said we had good communication until about October 2021, so what all of a sudden changed? Some responses to Crowrindo's tweet said, trust me, they really want to, but EA is not making it possible. EA have gotten a dev fired because he was communicating too much. I'm not going to say why, but I think some of you can all guess who it was. Obviously, we know who that was. So he's suggesting that it's EA that is putting the suppression on the developers, not allowing them to communicate like they used to. Now, you may be confused with what he just said. I said earlier that he was a balance changer, so he brought a lot of buffs and nerfs. Well, a lot of those sometimes ended up being controversial. So because he was trying to explain himself on Twitter very often, he got into a lot of heated discussions, which made him not so necessarily loved. And when you have a lot of people that hate you, obviously you're kind of under fire. Speaking of being under fire, Apex itself could be under fire. Looks like EA is looking to sell or merge. Now, obviously this can go one or two directions, really good or really bad. Now, the problem is the person that they're talking to, it looks like to be Disney, Apple, Amazon, and a few others. Now, these are not the kind of companies I would really want running EA. At the end of the day, yes, this is business, but this seems mostly just like a business deal and with no great impact for us. For instance, many people at the time seem to be a little bit worried about the Xbox Activision thing regarding a monopoly potentially forming. However, I think that Activision getting bought by Xbox is more of a beneficial thing in the long run, or I can say at least more beneficial than Activision selling to Amazon or something. I'd be more happy if EA sold to, like, you know, Steam or Sony or Microsoft, someone who's actually a little bit more involved in the gaming industry and innovation when it comes to gaming. I mean, just for instance, Amazon has had Twitch for many years, and it looks like Twitch is going extremely downhill over the last couple of years. However, YouTube streaming seems to be on the up and up. Twitch is starting to benefit their creators even less. I want to say there was some drama regarding the split that they have to do, because when you're a partner, you're supposed to get more of a split than the normal affiliates, but I think that even got ruined somehow. Harris Heller, which is the stream doctor, I think Alpha Gaming, you guys probably watched some of his videos if you've ever thought about streaming. He's been a long time Twitch diehard fan, and now he's fully sold on the future of YouTube streaming. So it is kind of hard, because when you look at it, Twitch supposedly would still be the same employees and still having people that have these innovative ideas who should be able to make changes that are really good. It shouldn't really come down strictly from the ownership of Amazon anymore. However, it's hard to deny that when you see Amazon owning something and then all of a sudden Twitch is plummeting, so where really is a connection to be made? Now, YouTube is obviously still way behind Twitch when it comes to streaming, but it just looks like that one's going down and one's going up. Oh, remember a couple of minutes ago when we were talking about Respawn taking too long to fix things? By the way, just to remind you, Triplin just reminded us all, honestly, how has the game chat still not been fixed for Xbox yet? We are approaching 2 months since the next gen update came out with no fix to the Xbox game chat. These are the little things that I'm talking about that should not take this long to fix. Now, yes, I would probably rather have them take more time on fixing this than maybe delaying like an heirloom event type thing, but it just seems like an heirloom event type, collection event type thing should be taking longer to make or, you know, implement than a simple Xbox game chat bug fix or an Xbox DDoS exploit within the menu. I think one of the comments on this is something that we all want to say is, honestly, I don't think they care. We know they somewhat care. I just don't think they have any sense of urgency. Or the real answer may be this: I think they're too busy trying to force out the next heirloom to make some mad cash, yo. Could say the same thing about Xbox DDoS bug. Same with the new season, same old problems, and taking far longer than needed to fix. Hitting the nail on the absolute head. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below for a chance to win the Glytch energy as well. I'll see you all in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and until next time, I'll see you later, Gators.